welcome to Donnie Jones Live. I am Donnie Jones, and on our show we like to have a conversation about what it takes to have a beautiful life and building a beautiful life. And on our show today we have a wonderful guest who's making a difference in our community. And I'll let you guys hear her story, but I'm so fascinated because she started off as somebody that's working in our community and building a business, and she felt inspired to make a difference. And I'm talking about a wonderful woman who is now devoting her time and her life to serving her community. And I'd like for you guys to get to know Mrs. Tamara Johnson-Shealey.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Donnie. Thank you for having me.
And I'm so glad to have you. But I got to tell you guys, I was nervous because you know how you know somebody for like a long time, and then you realize you done jacked up their name all these years. I was like, okay, I can jack it up in person, but I can't jack it up for y'all because I want y'all to know her. So anyway, talk to us a little bit about who you are, what you've been up to, and we'll talk a little bit about how we met in a bit. But Tamara, one of the reasons I was excited about you is because of what you're doing and how you started off as a small businesswoman and saw that there was a need, and then you used your life and said, you know what, I have something to say, I need to say it, let me start here and make a difference. Can you start right there and tell people, you know, how that happened and what's going on with that?
Well, yeah, so again, Tamara Johnson-Shealey. I am
we're going to get that name right.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm a candidate for the Georgia State Senate District 40. Senate District 40 is all of North DeKalb. It is Dunwoody, it is Dorville, Brookhaven, Chamblee.
Yes.
It's the North Lake Tucker area. Over in Gwinnett, it is Peachtree Corners. And over in Fulton County is Sandy Springs.
Yes.
But yes, my heart, I started in the beauty and barber industry. I was actually your nail tech.
That's right.
For a number of years, and my heart was so in serving and being a servant. And I love what I did. Yeah. But I had a calling that took me beyond the actual service side of my industry. I started watching politically the things that were happening in my industry, and I realized that politics was not just in my industry. It was in my county, it was in my state, it was in this nation. Yes. And everything was political. And it just took me here.
Yeah, I said exactly. So in other words, she went from doing nails and now she's running for the Senate. Yeah. But there's more involved than that. But you know, one of the reasons why I liked coming to your shop was because you tried to do it in a natural way. And I know there's a shift towards a more holistic way of doing that. And I think you bring that energy into running for Senate. You know, you're trying to get down to the heart of things, to the natural way things should be, as opposed to everything being so politicized. Was it a challenge for you going from the industry that you were in and picking up the ball and going, okay, I'm gonna go into politics? Like, how did you make that transition?
Like I said, I started watching my industry politically. I was on the cutting edge of what we were doing. The experience that you had coming into my salon I was so on the cutting edge that this was like on the forefront of this whole natural movement. I was doing natural nails when natural nails wasn't even popular.
That's right.
And I had a hard time building my clientele because people were like, you know, what are you doing? You know, where's the acrylics and the gels and all these enhancements? And I'm like, no, we have to get back to a more holistic way of providing services, something more natural, something that's safer for you as a consumer.
And that's what I was going to say. The reason why I liked it so much, because I'd already went natural with my hair, and it just didn't feel right. I know I didn't say I need to get my nails done today, but it didn't feel right sitting in a salon with all the chemicals and the like you said, the acrylics and all that smell getting into your body and in your nose and everything. And it just felt like, okay, I'm trying to be natural. I'm trying to, you know, do a healthy thing, but then I'm sitting in this toxic environment. What woke you up, but prior to you becoming a politician, where you looked at it and said, okay, this isn't healthy? Like, did something happen?
Well, no, I feel like I was born to do natural nails, because when I started at nail school, I was horrible. I mean, literally like horrible at doing those other services. My acrylic was this thick. You know, those gels.
I don't know. Like that's crooked. The thing now. You know?
Yeah, I know. It was horrible. Like, I could not master those services. So you know what I said to myself? I'm going to get this, but I'm going to do what I know how to do, and I'm going to get really good at it. So I just mastered manicures and pedicures, and as I started getting into it, I realized that, you know, this was a safer way. You know, it was a healthier way to provide our services, and I was on that health kick before, prior to that. So I really found my place in my comfort zone with providing natural services that were healthy to the customer and to me, doing it day in and day out.
I was going to say that if you've got to sit there 8 hours to do, and I'm sure sometimes it was more than 8 hours, providing a service, you're taking in all of that, those chemicals.
So I didn't want to expose you or myself to those chemicals.
Exactly. So did you grow up in a family where, holistic care and healthier ways of life was how you grew up? Or
no, I just evolved. I moved here when I was 21, looking for something, coming to Atlanta, like, this is the state of, great state of, of
you're gonna make it
Mecca.
Here. Yeah, exactly.
And I did.
It's Black Mecca. That's what I thought. Honestly, when I came from St. Louis, because St. Louis it's an interesting town, kind of industrial, but it's changing. But it's just, to me, when the first time I came to Atlanta and I saw Black people having businesses and doing things, they were in politics, and there was such that it was also within the Black community, there was diversity. It wasn't just you was Black from Mississippi and you moved to Chicago or St. Louis and you got a job at the post office and bam, and it was just different. It was all these different cultures and all these different, types of people loving each other, living together and building a community.
And I loved it.
And you loved it.
I came here. Yeah. Like I saw it when I visited and I was like, oh. And when I moved here, I really knew that this was home. It was going to be home for me. So no, I didn't come from that kind of family, but I evolved into the person. I stopped eating pork when I was like 16. So I knew I was onto something. I just didn't know what it was. And when I came here, I think I just really blossomed and became the person that I am today.
And you're a wonderful person.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about how you grew up.
Oh, I'm from rural Georgia.
How rural is rural Georgia?
Oh my gosh. I remember as a little girl, literally, I remember my uncle and my aunt had an outhouse.
Yeah.
But they didn't have indoor bathroom.
Wow.
I remember people not wearing shoes.
Well, that's me right now.
Like this was like the norm. Like people walked around without shoes. Yeah. And one story my aunt used to tell when I was a little girl was that how she grew up in the quarters. Yeah. And I never really understood when, growing up in the quarters, I thought it was like an area or just, like a subdivision or something.
Yeah.
No, it was the slave quarters.
No. Are you serious?
And I didn't understand her story until I got older. So that's how rural.
Okay.
I'm from the deep south. where they pick tobacco and cotton.
Yes, well, they really did what we see on TV. The stuff we see on Roots, they actually did.
And I know, and my family did that. So I know what that, I come from that. So when I came here, like I say, Atlanta was an opportunity.
Yeah. Well, you said that you had mentioned beforehand that you have kind of an interesting background and diverse background. And I want people to know that because, once again, you're not just running for Senate. You're not just another face running for Senate. There's a person behind who's running. And I'd like for people to know that a little bit. What kind of made you who you are today? Some of your influences?
My love for people. My love for people and doing what's right. Sitting in a chair, I can just tell you, anybody that does your hair, your nails, provide any kind of personal services, massage, you develop a relationship.
That's right.
And I developed a relationship with a lot of people. I had a predominantly white clientele, and I
did not know that. I did not know that. Okay.
And I heard all kinds of stories.
Yeah.
I heard from my African American clientele, my white clientele. I heard these stories, but ultimately we're all people.
Yes.
And we need to get back to what is right and what is wrong. There is no color in right and wrong. It's
my goodness. Can you say that again? As Oprah would say, that's a tweetable moment. Okay.
There is no color in right or wrong. It's either right or it's wrong.
That's right. So what are you going to bring to the Senate that is different than the other people that are running for the position that you will have?
I think the fact that I have been a servant, and a servant to the magnitude that, I did your hands, I did your feet. I served. So serving to me under the Gold Dome will be second nature. It'll be like going to the salon and serving my clients doing what's right versus the wrong.
You already mentioned what district you serve, but how is what you're doing going to affect them on a day-to-day basis?
I think my district is unique. It is, like I say, it's most of the district is North DeKalb.
Okay.
And I want to see DeKalb County specifically be more inclusive.
Yes.
There's such a divide between North DeKalb and South DeKalb that there is the oneness that I think that we need to start to cultivate. I think it takes somebody with a heart for all people to actually do it. The incumbent hasn't been able to do it, and that's why I won against him 3 times.
I was going to say, you ran against him before. And each year, your numbers have come up because I think people see that there's a need. We've just got to get you over that crest. And that's why I want you here, so that we can help put somebody in office that understands that Atlanta is a diverse city. DeKalb County is diverse. And that doesn't mean that we want one to take from another. And the reason why I mention that is because, you know, being in the tree care industry, I get to see so many different people. And there's people in North DeKalb that are like, well, you know, I've worked hard for what I have, and you know, I just really want to make sure my community is safe, and I don't want them taken from my community. And I'm like, okay, I understand where you're going with that, but you know, it's got to become a we situation, where if I scratch your back, you scratch mine also. And I believe in people pulling themselves up for their bootstraps, but there's people that don't even have boots to pull up.
That's right.
And I think we missed that somewhere. And I think you running for office is going to represent what we can be. You know, so what are you going to do to kind of bridge that gap?
We have to hear the what's going on in South DeKalb, and it has to be something that is intentional. Like I say, specifically to my district, it has to be intentional. The bridge, you know, this divide, we have to intentionally cross those lines and bring a sense of community.
But how do we cross those lines when you've got so many people that are resistant because of their fear?
I think that's why we have to have these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
We have to continue to talk. I actually started a Facebook group called Acknowledge the Divide. And I think social media has helped us tremendously see that there is a divide, and there are these disparities, and we have to be intentional, and we have to acknowledge that this is real.
This is real.
This is real. Like when you see black men getting killed, and you know, people getting shot, you know, all these things that are happening in these communities that are underserved, this is real. It's
real. It's very real. And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I feel like people think that if you mention that or you acknowledge that you're anti-police, or if you are pro-police, then you're anti, you know, BLM, and that's not the case. We have to, I think, somehow get to a point where we can say, listen, we've got to acknowledge that racism is real. We've got to acknowledge that there are black men that are killed for doing sometimes nothing, and for doing the crime, whereas when a white person does the same crime or is in the same situation, they somehow might get arrested, get a little probation, get stuff swept under the table, and then they're back with their job because of resources.
That's right.
And also because of racism. So I feel like you bring to the table that you have the ability to call that out, but also bridge that divide.
Absolutely, you have to acknowledge it. That's why I started that Facebook group, to acknowledge it, and then we work on solutions, real solutions that get us beyond this. Like California, for example, I was watching a video last night. They have a new law that they're going to initiate where, you know, when you don't always have to shoot to kill. I can understand you are afraid as an officer. You might, you know, this might be a situation where I could be hurt. But do you have to shoot to kill?
Right.
So there's a law now being initiated in California about shoot only when necessary.
Yes,
like when you feel like you've exhausted all your other means of, you know, de-escalating the situation, and now you shoot.
And exactly, if you're in but like this, we're human.
Yes.
And honestly, if I were a police officer and I'm in a situation where I think my life is in danger, or because of things that I've got up in my head, I perceive that my life is in danger, I'm gonna do things, you know, more aggressively to protect myself. So if there is a law that says, okay, you can shoot, but you need to shoot maybe their kneecap or something.
Right? Like, why did you, shoot them in the leg, you know, get control of the situation.
But here's the flip side of that. My sister was a gun owner, and my family, they're gun owners. Me, I'm anti-gun, but I believe you should have your Second Amendment right, all that stuff. It's harder she would tell you, she goes, Donnie, it's harder to shoot it in the leg than it is the body.
I need you to learn how to shoot in the leg. When they do target practice, I think they teach you to shoot like to kill. I want them to teach you, like, could you shoot him in the leg?
Just
shoot him in the leg. You don't have to kill. And the man that was the mentally ill man in New York. I mean, why did we shoot him to kill him?
Yeah, you're right.
He was sick.
Yeah, he was. And that gets us into mental health, you know, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But Tamara, I'm just so thankful that you're doing what you're doing. Can you tell the people how to get in contact with you, how to support you, how to support your campaign?
My website is www.tamara, Tamara, Georgia spelled out.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, Tamara Shealey.
That's right. So, do you prefer do you prefer people to call you Tamara Johnson-Shealey or Tamara Shealey?
Well, I got married in the middle of the campaign, in my second campaign, so most people knew me from the first time as Tamara Johnson. So I'm going to go on to be Tamara Shealey, but I'm still trying to make sure that I get those people that just know me as Tamara Johnson. I don't want to miss any votes.
That marketing is important.
Yes. I will be eventually just Tamara Shealey, but right now I'm going to stick with Johnson-Shealey until I get elected.
There you go. And that's right, until you get elected. And I believe you will be, because we need to see this, you know. And once again, I keep looking at you going, I am so proud of you. Because it's like, you know where somebody came from, and then to see where they're at right now, it's a powerful thing. But we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about your campaign and anything else that you're working on right now so that the people can support you and get involved. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be right back.
Unlimited is the special needs ministry of Mount Perrin Church. Unlimited is a place where kids, teenagers, and adults can belong to a group, to a church, to Jesus Christ. Unlimited is a place where people with disabilities are part of a community where their God-given gifts are valued and respected. Gifts that make other people feel welcome, talent to worship, ability to serve others. Unlimited is a place where we recognize the importance that people with disabilities play in completing the body of Christ, in completing the whole church. It's a place where we are interwoven into one complete body.
Hi, this is Donnie with Donnie Jones Live. I would love for you all to join me on June 9th for a Pink Affair. That is being brought to you by Dolls to Divas. I'm one of the sponsors as well as one of the speakers, and we would love to see you there. For more information, hit me up on Facebook for all the particulars, but I would love to see you there.
Hey lady, I'm here to take down your tree.
Don't just hire anybody, you just never know what you might be getting. Don's Tree Service offers quality service and reasonable prices. Call 770-413-TREE and have our professionals come and give you a free quote. After you choose a service, our crew will come out and work safe and efficiently. Our goal is to leave you with a smile on your face and no debris in your yard.
Not just trees we aim to please. 770-413-TREE.
Hello, and we are back with Tamara Johnson-Shealey. She is running for Senate, and we're talking about her life and what she's bringing to the table and how she's making a difference in our community. And before we went to the break, we were starting to talk a little bit about the race, a little bit about why you're different from the incumbent. And I'm trying to be sensitive here. But sometimes we just need to keep it 100%. No need to be sensitive. You know, talk to us about why your race is different. You know, your strategy or the dynamics of it. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, this is actually my third run, Donnie, for the Georgia State Senate. I ran in 2014, garnered 37%. I ran again in 2016, 43.8%.
Yes.
So this time I'm literally only 7% away. I have been, dedicated and committed to this run, committed to serving in my district. The incumbent has been divisive. He has made comments. I'm not sure if you remember back in 2014, he made the comment about bringing the church buses to the polls and the Sunday voting, and not wanting people to get out and vote, as if that was a problem. In 2016, he made a comment about the John Ossoff race and how these lines weren't drawn for Hank Johnson's protege. Basically, admitting that gerrymandering is,
gerrymandering is real.
It's real, and he, just threw it out there as if it was nothing. That's not, to me. it's time to go. It's time to go. When you know, we're beyond that. Politics is about doing what's right for people. And when we start playing, I'm not real good at playing the political game. You know, I don't think all Democrats are right, and I don't think all Republicans are wrong.
Goodness.
Like, I really ride the middle. I am truly a Democrat in my heart, but guess what? They're not all right, and they're not all wrong.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that. And I feel like this is one interview where I keep going, I'm so glad, I'm so glad, I'm so glad. You know, maybe because it's politics, and I'm so in alignment with what you say, but just to be transparent, I'm independent. The reason why I'm independent is because I see there's issues with the Democrats, and I see there's issues with the Republicans, but nobody seems to want to talk about it, you know? Like, on the Republican side, I really do believe that we need to be fiscally conservative.
Absolutely.
I really do think we need less government. But on the liberal side or on the Democratic side, I think we do need to take care of our community. I think we do need to address issues with race. I do think we need to take care of our neighbor. I think there's a responsibility. But, you know, you can't rob from Peter to pay Paul, but, you know, Peter needs to acknowledge that, you know, it's a society and a community that supports your businesses, that supports your enterprises, and we need to give back to those people and maybe help them and encourage them and provide programs that will maybe enhance some of the damage that was done. Because I think there's this attitude that, and I need to get back to you because I get to talking, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be interviewing you. I'm supposed to be interviewing you. No, but I think we need to acknowledge, like, I'm self-employed, and I do work hard, and I have, quote unquote, pulled myself up from my bootstraps. However, there are other people in my industry that did not have a father like I did that was in the industry and taught me a lot. And then a brother that was in the industry and taught me a lot. And then I got into sales and marketing, so I realized I made some mistakes, and, you know, I had people to encourage me and talk. So there was things along the way, so I didn't get here on my own.
You need to tell my audience, because when I share this, they're not going to know that you are a tree lady. Like she is like a tree. Like, tell my audience, because they're not going to know who
my
you are.
name is Donnie. I'm with Don's Tree Service. The name of my company, like I said, is Don's Tree Service. I'm a certified arborist, and I'm here to take care of your trees and you know, make a difference in the community. But getting back to what people seem to forget, I had those influences. Not everybody had those influences. So when I see other people in my industry that are struggling, even if I don't really know them, I'll reach out to them and be like, listen, I saw one of your trucks out there, and, you know, you've got to get some equipment to do this as opposed to that, because that's going to help your business. Or I saw you doing some advertising out there. Your advertisement was a little bit wordy because maybe they didn't have a marketing background. So even though that's my competition, they may not be rising like they should because they just don't know. And I feel like that's my responsibility as somebody that's been blessed. And I think that somewhere along the line we forgot that there's atrocities from our history in this country that have to be atoned for. You know, and I'm just gonna keep it real with my own people. We are never gonna get 40 acres and a mule. It ain't gonna happen, okay? But what we can do is ask for the playing field to be leveled a little bit.
Give us an opportunity.
Just give us an opportunity.
All we want is an opportunity. Make like you said, level the playing field. Give me an opportunity. And and then particularly, like I said, in South DeKalb, they want to vote. There's a cityhood initiative where they actually want to vote and become their own city. Why not?
Why not?
The incumbent that I'm running against has really made it very difficult. But our district is is you know, almost all incorporated. There's one little part that's not incorporated, but
little German.
But the rest of the South DeKalb wants to have the same opportunity as North DeKalb.
Right.
And you're not given that. So level the playing field.
Level the playing field, and that doesn't mean taking from one to give to the other. It's actually, I think a lot of it is communicating.
Yeah, and
it really is.
You know what? And my thing is this: when they level the playing field, guess what? It relieves some of the tax burden.
It does.
Yeah. Guess what? Because you have more people now that are adding to the economy versus taking away.
Exactly.
You want to win? Help somebody else.
Exactly. And acknowledge that there's going to be times when you level the playing field, and because of talent, because of hard work, because of persistence, there are going to be people that just rise. And they deserve that because they've put in the hard work. And then honestly acknowledge that you're going to level the playing field, and there's going to be people that don't take advantage of the opportunities that they're given. Acknowledge that. You know, so there's going to be people that aren't going to be people in, like my industry, there's going to be people that don't sit up till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night working on their books, trying to better themselves and figuring out marketing ideas because they're sitting in front of a television. Those people are not going to be the same people. There's people that want to run for Senate like you are. but they're not going to put in the hard work.
I work hard.
And you're putting in the hard work. What's some of the hard work that you're doing right now?
Oh my gosh, I stay up all night.
Yeah.
I try to go to bed at a reasonable hour. I really do, but I start out very early in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm a hard worker. When I'm dedicated to something, I'm working hard. The money part, that's been my weakness, like raising the money, because it's not about the money to me. I want to see us take money out of politics ultimately. Like I want us to get back to, politics where people, you can't buy your public, your
public servant.
I'm bought.
And I love that. I love that you are building it yourself and with regular folk, and that's why people should vote for you. What's another reason why people should vote for you? You're not just a public servant. You're not just doing it on your own. What are some other things, maybe somebody from the district that might be on the fence? What could you say to them? What can you look in the camera and say to them to get their vote?
That I have a heart to serve. I think that's the biggest part of who I am. I have a heart to serve. I want to see us do right by all Georgians. I think Georgia should have expanded Medicaid, to have people that can't go to the doctor. To me, that's like healthcare is your right. That's not a privilege. That's not something that you're just you can get it and you can't. No, healthcare is a right. I think we need to do better with education. All children deserve to have a good, solid education. Before we fund anything else, we fund our public schools. We give every child an opportunity, and if there's more and we can do more, let's do more. But let's have a very strong, solid foundation with public education.
And I don't understand how this one isn't a common sense one with education. The companies, the corporations, the businesses need workers, and they need people. I don't even like that term, workers. They need people. And when you have a community that's not educated, what pool are you drawing from?
Exactly.
I can't tell you how many meetings or I get invited to these like little events, just because of, you live in a certain community or you reach whatever status, whatever, and they invite you to these meetings, and you get in a room full of people that have never even known adversity, or if they did, they've already transcended it, so they think they're better than other people, and they're sitting there going, I'm having the hardest time finding good qualified people. I'm having the hardest time finding educated people that want to stay committed to a company and help me grow the company. And I'm like, that comes from education.
Yes,
that comes from kindergarten,
second grade, third.
Right.
Funding education.
Education helps a whole community, not just and you can't just have good education in one community and not the next.
That's right.
Because we all benefit from good education. This is America, obviously you're working on running for the Senate. What are some other things that you're working on right now? Or is that just all consuming? No. Or do you have other things that you're working on?
I still do advocacy work for the industry. I am the senior advocate of politics, beauty, and barber.
Okay.
I'm the president of the Concerned Beauty and Barber Professionals, where I still monitor and track legislation nationwide that affects the beauty and barber industry.
Yes.
In addition to trying to educate our industry with higher standards, because it's important that when you go to get a service, that these people that are providing these services are actually being educated beyond the basic foundational knowledge that they had when they started.
What are some of the problems that you see in the beauty industry? And I will say a large part of my audience is women. Obviously I love guys. I love y'all. Keep supporting me too. I love my men. Love the guys. I love all of y'all. Okay, no one on camera. But what is it that you see as problems in the beauty industry?
Well, we've been fighting deregulation of our industry for many years. Literally, they want to take away our licensure. where these people that provide—
Are you serious?
Yeah, people that are providing these services, they are literally going around the country and devaluing us, either lowering our standards as far as our education standards, which we just said how important education is, lowering those standards. They want to put people to work faster.
Okay.
So they're like wanting you to do less hours with your education, no continuing ed, no requirements around that.
But why would they do that? I would think in an industry where you're dealing with water, you're dealing with, fungus, bacteria touching people, you would want some regulations. Yeah.
But there is less government, which I understand we do want.
I do want less government, but on this one,
some things, we don't want the EPA to be underfunded. We don't want, we want to do the right thing. So I get, so they want to literally lower our standards to bring more people into the workforce. We have these corporate salons, this corporate agenda that want to bring people into the workforce, which I understand that, but don't have people not ready. Right. Don't bring people into the industry that aren't ready.
So are they saying that people are being Are they saying we're making it too hard for people to get in the industry, and that's why they want to deregulate it?
It's a barrier to entry. They want to, yes, they definitely feel like it's hindering them from bringing more people into the workforce because we have licensure. Licensure is being attacked across the nation in various industries, not just our industry. We've just never been organized as beauty and barber professionals. We've never had to fight for ourselves. So that's why we're like targeted the way we're targeted, because we've never been organized. And that's what our organization is doing, is trying to organize professionals around health and safety standards to make sure that when you are getting a service in a salon and barbershop, you really are safe.
You want to hear something? I just thought about something. I started going to you because you were natural. But one of the reasons why I started that is because I had acrylics on my nails, and something or fungus or something got up under my nails, and I went back to let them know that this thing was oozing, and they were like, "Oh, that didn't come from us. You must have done something." And it was just like there was no accountability, you know. Which it was time for me to get out of acrylics anyway. It's just my thing. For me, I know a lot of people were, but for me, I touched my mic again. For me, I had to, but that's what brought me to you, was that it just seemed like there wasn't any care or concern for the client, you know, when something didn't go right, when things went wrong. There was kind of this, well, you know, you just got a jacked up nail now.
Yes, and which could lead to you having an infection in your body, which could make you sick. People have lost limbs. People have lost their lives behind getting manicures and pedicure services. So it's that serious. When somebody is touching you, it is that serious.
So what should before we get back into politics, because I know we're going to be wrapping up soon, what should people be looking for in a salon when they're there?
A license. Make sure your beauty and barber professional is licensed. I have walked out, like once I took my son to a barbershop. We were in the neighborhood. I was like, oh, we'll try this barbershop. I walked in. I asked him where his license was, and he got offended. I told my son to get out of the chair and let's go.
There you go.
There you go. Look for a license, and look for people that are intentional about getting continuing education. You know, you learn this foundational information, but science, and there's so much information out there now around our industry. You want to make sure that they're licensed and they're actually getting continuing education.
Absolutely. And once again, how do we get in contact with you? And we'll talk a little bit more about your platform, and then we'll wrap it up. But tell the people how to get in contact with you.
So my website is www.tamara, Tamara 4FOR, GeorgiaSpelledOut.com, and I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm everywhere as Tamara Shealey.
And can we donate there?
Yes, please.
Yes, please talk about that. See,
yes, please.
This is the part that I'm good at. I will ask for the money in a heartbeat. So, you guys, please support her campaign. I mean, really, she's an amazing woman. She's an advocate for humanity, not just white humanity, black humanity, all humanity. And I'm proud of what she's accomplished, you know. And what do we need to do to push you over the top?
Get out and vote. May 22nd is my primary. The general election is in November, but get out and vote. A lot of people don't vote in primaries. They really don't understand the logistics.
Talk about that real quick?
Yeah, they don't really understand how important that primary is. This is where you decide who your candidate will be. Like you have to, there's a pool. Like I do have a primary opponent. This is where you decide who actually runs against the incumbent. So you have to vote in the primary.
Yes, they have to vote. And y'all gotta vote for her.
Yes, please.
Well, I can't really say, I can't say that.
Please, it's your show.
I'm on a network, and I mean, I'm not on a network. I can say y'all need to vote for her. So, I love it. I cannot thank you enough for being on the program and sharing your heart and telling the people why they should vote for you. I mean, obviously you're not saying you're the be all end all, but I think you are the be all end all. We need more politicians like you, and it means a lot that you're taking a portion of your life and you're using it to serve others, and that just says a lot. And I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
And I will actually be making a donation myself to support you. I don't want to just talk my talk. I want to walk it. I want to walk my talk, and I would love to support you in any way that I can. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Donnie. I love you.
You're welcome, and I love you too. And thank you for joining Donnie Jones Live today. My seed for today is similar to what it is every week. Just go for it. I'm looking at this beautiful woman that had a dream, and she took that dream and did something with it. And it didn't matter where she started, it's where she is right now. And I would like for you to do that in your own life. You have a dream, go for it. And that's just my passion. I know it sounds redundant compared to what I talk about every week, but I believe it's important that when God puts something in your spirit, that's a seed for you to do something with it. He can put the seed in there, but only you can water it. So thank you for joining our show. I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.